This is a spoiler-free review of The Flash, starring Ezra Miller and directed by Andy Muschietti. After one of the longest gestation periods in the history of Warner Brothers, the Flash film is finally here, and against all odds, Muschietti has directed a fantastic movie. It is funny, emotional, and has a ton of action. Fans who just watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse may experience a case of deja vu due to several key similarities, but The Flash stands on its own as an excellent film as well. Ezra Miller reprises his role as Barry Allen, and in this film he plays multiple versions of Barry Allen and The Flash. When he was cast as The Flash in 2014, many fans were a bit puzzled as they did not have the characteristics of the iconic Barry Allen, and truth be told, while their performance in Justice League was amiable, it didn't convince the masses that they were the right choice for Barry. But when Zack Snyder's Justice League was finally released on HBO Max, Barry's story was much more fleshed out. The climactic scene of Barry entering the Speed Force to stop the Unity from destroying the planet was visually stunning and lived up to the potential that fans wanted for the Flash character. Thankfully, that potential is further developed in this solo Flash film. And Ezra finally comes into owning the Barry Allen role 9 years after the initial casting announcement. The story of Barry Allen is well known at this point. Barry's mother is murdered, his father is jailed for her murder, and this trauma is the defining moment in Barry's life. Mary Belle Verdue plays Nora Allen, and she is Barry's emotional core in nearly every version of Barry Allen. Ron Livingston is a recast of Henry Allen, and he is a fine choice to replace Billy Crudup. After repeated attempts to prove his father's innocence, Barry contemplates traveling back in time to save his mother and to clear his father's name. The other emotional center in Barry's life is Iris West. After a brief appearance in Justice League, Kiersey Clemons plays her once again here. As for Flashpoint, it's been rumored for years that the Flash would use the iconic Flashpoint storyline from the comics. This is not the case. The film is not an adaptation of Flashpoint. However, it does borrow the Flashpoint concept as a way to retcon parts of the DCEU. It's essentially a different version of Flashpoint that has little relation to the original story. In addition to multiple Flashes, there are also multiple Batmen. Ben Affleck briefly returns as the Caped Crusader in an action set piece early in the film. This was perhaps his best turn at Batman with some genuinely cool sequences. Ben Affleck is still the only cinematic Batman not to have his own solo movie. Sadly, it is possible this may be the last time we see him in the role, and that would be a shame. As demonstrated in The Flash, he has so much more to give as Batman than we have seen so far. Michael Keaton has the much larger Batman role in this movie, and he is amazing. He has more cool action in this film than he did in his own 2 solo Batman films. It is his wise elder figure that unravels the consequences of Barry's actions, setting the main thrust of the story in motion. It would require some timey-wimey narrative, but it would be so much fun if Warner Brothers found a way to complete Keaton's Batman trilogy 31 years after the release of Batman Returns. On a search for Superman, the heroes find Kara Zor-El instead. Sasha Calle plays Supergirl. Though the role is brief, she makes an impact almost instantly. Man of Steel is a key reference point in the story, and Supergirl here is used as a multiverse replacement for Superman. Though we know the DCEU is coming to an end, it would be nice if James Gunn found a space for Sasha Calle's Supergirl in the new DCU. Also from Man of Steel is General Zod, once again played by Michael Shannon. It is revealed Barry Allen had an unknown connection to that first film in the DCEU, and the threat of General Zod drives Barry Allen's decisions with multiverse-level consequences. Speaking of the multiverse, there is a giant elephant in the room. There is a lot of overlapping story with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. In addition to a few small similarities, there are at least 2 major story points that are nearly identical. Both films feature a central character coming face to face with a bad version of themselves, and both films also have a concept of fixed events that must happen or else the timeline becomes screwy. Despite these similarities, my enjoyment of The Flash was not diminished, but it would be nice if the next installment of both of these franchises found a way to distinguish themselves so this does not happen again. Overall, The Flash delivered on its promise after many years of delays. While it is not as groundbreaking as the animation in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, it is still a great entry into the multiverse canon. The movie is incredibly entertaining. It is funny and heartfelt. There are a ton of cameos DC fans will love, and the runtime speeds by. I walked out of the theater thoroughly satisfied, albeit with my fill of multiverse stories for a while. If you enjoyed this review, consider subscribing, and thank you for watching.